of the black elected officials and others commit treason against their own people by using race to deflect attention away from their own failures. In Baltimore, when Freddie Gray was killed, that's when, to deflect attention away from why are blacks failing in school systems and in cities run by their own people for the past 50 years. If racism were the issue, then tell me, why are they failing? But the answer that they give is, well, the police are agents of white supremacy. There's always a racial deflection that prevents them from taking responsibility of why they are running their systems. But many of them are hypocrites because they don't live by the same rules. Eleanor Holmes Norton, Jesse Jackson Jr., all of them sent their children to private schools in Washington while opposing school choice for poor black people. So you have this contradiction, but race really is being used as a shield and a sword, a shield to deflect attention away from their failure to address problems that were promised by the civil rights movement.
How can you manipulate for this long, though? One may ask, how can you manipulate? 2012, 93% of African Americans voted Democrat. 2016, 89% of African Americans voted Democrat. 2020, 87%. So 93, 89, 87 voted Democrat. Malcolm X said this at the year that he said, this is 60-something years. How can you manipulate an entire voting bloc, an entire community for this many decades?
Because race is a very emotional, deeply emotional issue. It's like the state of Israel is to Jews. It's an emotional issue, like abortion is to the right to life. And so it is a deeply, and they know it, and they do manipulate it.
What's going on, everyone? Stocks for Kenny here today. It's the Inconvenient Truth series, and today we're going to talk about the inconvenient truth about the black vote. I've been hesitant to really want to go into this video, but I think it's something that needs to be discussed and needs to be said. Is that I believe the black vote is usually an emotional vote, usually a single issue vote, and that could be for a variety of reasons. But I think that the biggest problem with the black vote is that it focuses on the wrong problems. I think it focuses on low impact problems that doesn't really affect people at the rate that they think it affects people. And I think it's a vote that a lot of Democrats take advantage of. And as you saw from the intro, Bob Woodson points out how a lot of the Democrats and a lot of black politicians, right? I have plenty of examples for this video. They use race as a way of deflecting criticism from the implementation and approach of how they try to solve these problems that they run on, right? And I just wanted to focus on the Pew Research study here, that inflation, health costs, and partisan corporations among nation's top problems, right? And they talk about how the Democrats hold edges over a variety of issues, but I want to focus on racism. You see how the 55% is on Democratic side? And I think a lot of black people vote based on this, right? And especially, it seems like black women, right? Because black women are the most loyal Democratic voters in America. Like, if you look at the stats, and second is black men. But you're starting to see a lot of black men are looking at the Democratic Party like, yeah, you don't really do anything really for us, right? And you can see it. All you have to do is look at the voting campaigns. How did the Democrats market to black men? I'll wait. Right. I think the last one memorable one I remember from 2022, I believe last year, was if you don't vote, you ain't gonna get sex from black women. That was the ad campaign. Imagine, tell me that you don't have anything to offer a group of a voting bloc without telling me you don't have anything to anything to offer to a voting bloc. They think, hey, black men, all you have to do is vote along black women, and black women will reward you for voting Democrat. That's how look. Hey, people like to talk about the image of black people, and I think that was a bad image for black people. I was embarrassed, honestly. That I'm like, oh, people gonna walk around and think that I'm voting because I want the approval of women, when politics is supposed to be about, hey, I agree with this approach to this problem. That's all politics is supposed to be. And I think the reality, the inconvenient truth about the black vote is that it's a very emotionally driven vote, primarily because of the black woman. take a look at this clip from Black Conservative Perspective. Shout out to him. I get all most of my news from him. So I want to play this clip that I found very informative about how Black women are actually bragging about voting in Joe Biden. Let's take a look.
What is he doing in terms of police accountability and criminal justice reform?
Lang also says the president better show up more.
People always want to see people actually paying attention, and sometimes that means being able to physically be here and engaged.
Black turnout soared here in the Obama years, but it dropped in 2016 and was flat in 2020.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you grade the Joe Biden presidency in terms of its impact on your life and your community?
A 4.
A 4.
Yeah, and I love Joe.
Yvette Baker, though, sees a reason for optimism.
She says, I love Joe. Now look at her shirt. When Black women vote, we all win, right? I think that's what it says. Okay, when Black women vote, we all win. It's so hilarious to me how Black women think their votes are so important, right? They think their votes are so important. We saved democracy in 2020 from Trump. Okay, so are you telling me that Black women are responsible for high inflation? They're responsible for almost dragging us into World War III. They're responsible for open borders. They're responsible for crime, right? Again, I don't think that the Black women who are so proud of voting Democrat really understand what they're saying when they come out here and they brag about how they vote for Democrats at a 95% clip, right? So, again, it's funny because this woman knows that the Biden agenda is not working for her, but she's still probably going to vote Biden anyways just because she's programmed that way.
Honestly, that's how I feel. I honestly think that, like, a lot of Black people might get mad about me saying that, but it's just a difference of opinion. Is that I think a lot of the holding, like, they fall into a pattern, right? And they say if you want something different, it's outside of your comfort zone. And I think a lot of Black people, a lot of Black voters, and this is the inconvenient truth, right? Is a lot of Black voters are voting Democrat merely because they're comfortable with that style of leadership, with that approach, even though that approach is not giving them any benefit really, and it's actually hurting them more. And I want to focus on the specific part of the pre-research study. Democrats have sizable advantage on climate change, healthcare policies. Republicans lead on economics and crime and immigration. In my view, these three problems should be the biggest problems in the Black community. But
in this country, we have other Democratic cities, Denver, California, LA, sending their people to Chicago, New York. They're sending their migrants to Chicago. Why? Because they're saying we can't take anymore. Chicago has yet to say we can't take anymore. We have to draw the line somewhere. It's a diversion to continue to say this is a federal problem. We need help from the federal government. Yeah, we know that. But while we're waiting for the federal government to act, we need to be doing something here at home to protect us. Now, we don't even know the people who are coming to Chicago. The people that are coming here, we don't know if they have criminal backgrounds. We don't know if they're murderers. We don't know anything concrete about the people coming here. Now, when you look at what's happening, Venezuela are emptying their jails and telling them to walk to the border. So they're coming to Chicago. We already have enough crime here in the city of Chicago. We have enough crime here that we're dealing with.
What you heard the Black lady speak about, social justice reform, criminal justice reform. Most Black people are not criminals. So even the criminal justice point, like a lot of black liberals like to come in my comment section and mention to me, it don't affect most Black people. Because if you want to make the argument that police brutality affects most Black people, then you're making the argument that majority of Black people are criminally involved, which is not the case. That's not statistics. Most Black people are like me, never committed a crime in their life, never had a police record, nothing. Criminals are always the minority in any racial group. But for some reason, Black people are the loudest voice to defend these people because we believe in racism. And it goes back to the point where in the beginning of this video, that race is used as a sword and a shield. Shield the Democrats from accountability. Hey, your soft on crime policies is probably what's allowing this emboldening of high crime rates. Who are disproportionately affected by crime? Black people. Who has the lowest average income in based on racial groups? Black people. So the economy should be important to black people, but it's not, because the Democrats get you focused on emotional issues. And you saw the lady, right? Joe Biden's job approval has little change. He's still under 40%. But she said, "Oh, I still like Biden." That's not a logical reason. That's an emotional one. And that's an inconvenient truth about the black vote. That is a very emotionally driven vote. That's just me. Because if you look at it logically, if you look at it practically, what should matter more to voters? The economy, crime, and immigration, or climate change? Healthcare is fine. I can say, hey, okay, healthcare, it matters, right? But look at all this issue, the affordability of healthcare, right? Look at inflation. It's hurting. Inflation hurts everybody. The single moms out there struggling. Right now is a luxury to be a single person living on your own. It's harder to live by yourself now in 2023 than in years prior. But because of one issue, you're going to vote Democrat. Usually based on emotion. Because in the day, look, we have a difference of opinion here. Racism is a personal issue. It's not systematic. It's not institutional. You can believe whatever you want, but hey, I'm still waiting for white privilege to stop me. I'm being honest with you. It's a very emotional not position, problem. Oh, I want everyone to validate me. No, look, this is the world. You're not entitled to people validating you. That's where I stand from a mindset point of view. But hey, I digress. I want to put up this last clip for this video about the inconvenient truths about the black vote, and kind of highlight how a lot of their positions are based on, I guess, a narrative framing by left-leaning sources like CNN and all these other, just like people would like to make the argument that my framing is based on Fox News, PragerU, and all this stuff. I said I can make the same argument about you. Hey, you're drinking the left-wing Kool-Aid, and they're misrepresenting all this facts. Look at this debate between Michael Knowles and a BLM activist, and you're gonna see what I kind of see. Let's take a look.
Country and come to another country illegally. A lot of immigrants are hesitant in even getting on that point, and B, they still pay taxes through their wages. So
they pay some taxes.
I'm pretty sure there's data.
A lot of that's off the books.
I'm pretty sure that data out there suggests that they actually pay more into welfare that they actually get back, because they're not. There's something about illegally being in a country that's gonna not put you first in line to be under a government assistance program in case they, find out that you're.
No, it's not true. But this is why we have the concept of sanctuary states and sanctuary cities. This is why Gavin Newsom in California says we're going to be a sanctuary state. This is why New York said, please bring all the immigrants here, until the immigrants caused a lot of problems in those cities. So that all happens, and the Democrats are pretty explicit about it.
The Democrats are explicit about
favoring higher levels.
So
of
favoring a higher level
amnesty for the ones here.
Yeah, so am I. Favoring a higher level.
Because it's politically advantageous, but it's socially destructive.
So there's a difference between.
It's also bad for the people who cross.
There's a difference between saying I want more immigrants in my country because I want to. We should appeal more to them, and they can help our country, and we want amnesty for them. There's a difference between saying that and saying we are going to deliberately import people to replace a white population. That's the great replacement.
What do you mean to replace? Like you're going to shove it?
As
kill
in,
the white
more
people?
brown people that you bring in, the less they breed. They breed with the people in the country, and then the concept of whiteness gets more and more deteriorated until there's not as many white people. That's the great replacement.
That's
what I asked you about. You said, well, yeah, the Democrats are deliberately, and
they're deliberately flooding the country with migrants. That's true.
How?
Well, by not enforcing their border policy.
How are they not enforcing the border?
Because Joe Biden allows 3 million people a year to come into the country illegally.
So then how many did Donald Trump allow? Because Joe Biden's immigration policy has been mostly similar to Donald Trump.
Not really. The numbers were much lower under Trump, and the numbers in the first months of Trump's presidency, illegal immigration collapsed. Now, 6 months out into the rest of Donald Trump's administration, the numbers started to jump back up again. But the reason for that is because the Democrats stymied him on building the border wall and stymied him on ICE deporting illegal aliens, and made a big hullabaloo about Donald Trump putting families in cages that were built by Barack Obama.
Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. Like you saw the clip, guys. It's very it's like, oh, I see it this way, you see it that way. But the guy's bringing up evidence. Hey, look, 2014, these cages was here, built by the Obama administration. Trump just used it, right? And a lot of black people be like, oh, no, Obama didn't do that. Okay, what evidence you have to show for that? No, you just feel like it's not the case. But any day, he has demonstrable evidence. He's able to demonstrate, hey, look, this is not replacement theory. Any day, this is the dumbest thing I heard about the replacement theory. A lot of people want to frame it as if it's some racist idea, but if you look at the facts, if you look at the evidence, black people are hurt by illegal immigration more than any other group of people in America. Black people have the lowest average income as a racial group. Illegal immigration hurts low skill labor. Who's statistically more likely to be in low skill labor? Black people. So that's not hurting them. This one goes back to my point, is that the media, which is liberal, which has a liberal bias, no one can deny this. Journalists are some of the most liberal profession in America. If you look at the stats, they overwhelmingly donate to Democrats. They overwhelmingly vote Democrat. They overwhelmingly register as Democrats. Journalists are. So I could say, hey, you're getting biased information no matter where you look at. But black people sitting here saying, no, it's not because we're ignorant is why we vote for the Democratic Party. I'm being honest here. I think the black vote is one of the most least politically involved, engaged, and informed vote in America. I'm just being honest. Because look how the guy carried himself in the interview. He was talking, and he didn't really, like, all his arguments pretty much relied upon was the fact that if Michael, he's assuming that Michael Knowles is lying about what he bringing up. That's his whole argument. So that way, if Michael Knowles, and this is the danger that a lot of liberals, black liberals specifically, put themselves in, is that they like to argue with the assumption that, oh, your information is not credible because you're a conservative. But then if the conservative can verify, demonstrate, and prove that his information is credible, you have no argument. Because your whole argument, your whole framing relies on the fact that the person on the other side is lying or has incorrect information. And if you cannot prove that it's incorrect, then the opposite is true. You're incorrect. And this is the problem that a lot of liberals, black liberals, put themselves on. They go, oh, Republicans don't got nothing for black people. Okay, look at school choice. School choice is an educational point that Republicans are pushing, to the point where even in the Pew Research studies, if you look, it's to the point where Republicans are now beating the Democrats at the quality of public K-12 education, because public school is the lowest performing option for minority students. But you're still pushing for you're still going to vote for the Democratic Party. So that means you're voting for essentially against what's practically better for your group. And I want to end off this point where Michael Knowles brought up a very good point about immigration. Immigration is politically advantageous to the Democratic Party, but it's not advantageous to the black Americans. So there's a conflict of interest there. So black people, are you going to look out for your own best interest? I already showed you clips how black people from Chicago, New York, they're complaining about immigration, how it's increasing crime in their towns, in their country, not in the country, in their towns, in their streets, in their neighborhoods, affecting black lives. But y'all don't care. Just keep voting for the same damn thing every single time, and then you expect a different result. That's insanity. Like I said, you can get mad at me. You can think I'm biased. Oh, both sides. And black people vote 90% for one party. That's the Democratic Party. So if you try to both sides this, it's a statistically insignificant argument you're making, because 90% of your people vote for one party. So, but to say both sides can't be trusted is like, yo, most of your people trust one side. You're supposed to be focused on the side that most of the black people are focused on, and that's the Democratic Party. But you mad at me because I'm doing the same thing as the black Democrats doing. I'm advocating for why our approach will be able to fix these problems. But I digress. That's the inconvenient truth about the black vote. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. You agree, disagree? Let me know why in the comment section below. I really like to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I really do appreciate you guys for watching to the end of the video. And I'll catch you guys on the next Inconvenient Truths. Peace.